Throughout history, humans have sought security through permanent structures. We rely on visible indicators of power, fortified cities, and established political institutions to protect our communities from the unknown. When David ascended to the throne, he followed this standard logic of statecraft. He consolidated the scattered tribes and secured the borders of ancient Israel to stabilize his nation. Once his kingdom was established, David proposed a final step to solidify his reign. He wanted to build a permanent temple, a physical house to contain the presence of God. This plan reveals a persistent impulse. By constructing a grand building, David sought to institutionalize the divine, anchoring God's authority to an earthly, manageable location. But 2 Samuel chapter 7 records a reversal. Through Nathan, God halts David's architectural plans. God shifts the initiative entirely, telling the king, "You will not build me a house. I will build you a house." God defined this house as a royal lineage, a dynasty that would secure David's throne for generations. This timeline charts the specific scope of the promise. God stated this kingdom would endure forever, creating an infinite horizon for a mortal family. This creates an immediate tension. It requires an unbreakable, eternal kingdom to be sustained by a deeply flawed human lineage. The historical reality of David's kingdom quickly diverged from the ideal. The regime was marred by moral failure, civil unrest, and constant bloodshed. Even after Solomon finished the physical temple, the monarchy began to weaken. The centralized power structure eroded, and the nation fractured. The unified kingdom divided into warring factions. Following centuries of decline and foreign invasions, David's physical throne completely disappeared from history. Yet exiled prophets like Isaiah and Daniel insisted the covenant remained, pointing toward a future son of David, establishing absolute justice. The collapse of the earthly throne proved that if the promise were to be kept, the ultimate king would have to operate outside the boundaries of human politics. When Jesus of Nazareth began his ministry, the New Testament identified him as this prophesied son of David. Popular expectation demanded a warrior king, a leader who would use military strength to crush the Roman occupation and restore national sovereignty. Jesus ignored the military options. He targeted the structural forces of sin and death, achieving a spiritual victory rather than a political one. The public looked for a throne established through domination and the forceful removal of enemies. Instead, Jesus secured his kingship through humble servanthood, using the cross as the definitive means to inaugurate his reign. By redefining the nature of power, Jesus fulfilled the Davidic covenant. He provides the promised eternal rule by embodying a different kind of authority. This diagram illustrates the already but not yet, the concept that the eternal kingdom exists alongside our current era. Through his miracles and resurrection, Jesus demonstrated that this kingdom is currently entering the present moment. We live in the tension between these two realities. The king is currently seated and ruling, even as we wait for the final total unveiling of that reign. The kingdom of God operates in the present. It is a living jurisdiction that shapes how its citizens live today, rather than a political agenda on hold. This resolves David's original desire to build a temple. God is not contained within a building, because Jesus himself is the meeting place between heaven and humanity. The permanent house promised to David is a living temple where the king's throne resides within the human heart. This reality shifts our focus away from modern political systems. No nation-state or earthly ruler can offer the security found in this lineage. The promise made to David is fulfilled in Jesus, a king who transforms his people from within and reigns forever.